Everything begins with various armies from different kingdoms surrounding what appears to be a ritual, in which there is a circle of magicians, and in the center a chained woman, while they are surrounded by a sand blizzard. There, in front of the woman, a huge dragon emerges from the ground, but before attacking her, she uses a spell that releases the chains, and also traps the dragon, pulling out a sword. Then a man from among the magicians comes out, who exclaims that the sealing ceremony will now begin, while holding a staff that has a stone at the tip. A boy also emerges from among the magicians, who holds a mirror that he directs towards the dragon. That man now begins to tell a speech, saying that by the power of the sealing treasure, the sword of God, the sacred mirror, evil dragon Dagonzoto, will be sealed in a prison of eternal time. He also mentions the bad things he has done, while Dagonzoto sinks into the ground as they continue the ritual. But he is interrupted, because an arrow hits him in the back, which interrupts the ritual. One of the magicians calls him Sir Byro. Byro tells them not to help him, and to continue the ritual, or else Dagonzoto's soul-destroying flames will devour the land. Despite that, the shield that was holding Dagonzoto is destroyed, causing him to break free, and is about to attack the boy who was holding the mirror, which broke. Before that happens, Byro calls that child Hiro, calling him his son, and then casts a special spell, which apparently connects Dagonzoto and his son, where it is seen that a scar appears to Dagonzoto and Hiro, to which that dragon gets angry, releasing its soul-destroying flames. Shortly after, everything is engulfed in that blazing fire, and ends in a huge explosion that devastates everything. In a scene change, we now see the protagonist Hiro walking on the outskirts, arriving at a city. Inside, he sees a girl flying with an umbrella, presenting Nambuko, who is giving her blessing to the people of Linsekis. Then makes some women who accompany her throw coins in all directions, making the town happy and crazy. Hiro tries to take a coin, but a boy comes forward and takes it from him, who, going into an alley, is scolded by another boy who is there. He calls him Pishat, and tells him not to take Nambuko's money, because he would only squander the money he has taken from him. Another boy says that if he were to take anything from Nambuko, it would be the Grand Troa, and says that with that, you can get all the money and food you want. Hiro, after seeing that, leaves. Then he listens to a man telling the story of a hero, whose name is Dal Halbart. A hero from a legend that Hiro knows, later sees that the man who narrates the story sells the emblem of Dal Halbart, the Dragon Slayer. The guy exclaims that this emblem is real, but then a boy passing by steals it, and then tries to run away. But he is stopped by a giant guy who comes with the one who sells the emblem. Before he can hit the boy, Hiro stops him by pointing his gun at the monster, and gives the guy a gold coin, causing him to leave the boy alone. But that young man tells him that he should mind his own business, causing several children who were hiding nearby come out. And then he tells him that the plan was for him to make a scandal so that his friends would steal his money. Right after he steals Hiro's emblem and runs away from there. After a while, Hiro suddenly appears in the boy's hideout and takes back the Dal Halbart emblem, introduces himself before them, and asks the name of the boy he stole, who is called Tomit. Hiro tells him that this emblem is his Dal Halbart. Then he runs away through the window, which makes Tomit angry. We now see a man who asks for Hiro while holding a sign with his face, who asks Palupa, classmate of his, that is the correct city. He says that it is most likely there, and then says that Hiro took a month's worth of money, continuing his search. They show us that Nambuko has a meeting with the Lord of Linsekis, who tells him that if he sells so much magic, the price will rise and there will be chaos among the people. Nambuko talks about how fear is the simplest way to control people, showing terror towards the Lord. Afterwards, Nambuko shows him the Grand Troa, leaving the Lord impressed, and he tells him that if they want, they can use it for their benefit. The Lord tells him that he can't use it directly, because his reputation with the people will suffer. There is also a small dragon that has a long tongue, which when it gets under the table is trapped. Seconds later, it is seen that a hole opens from the ceiling, and a boy uses that same dragon that he caught to shoot out his tongue and catch the Grand Troa, managing to steal it. But the maid over there casts a spell by pointing her umbrella at the ceiling, creating a black hole, and this makes the boy fall in front of everyone. Now, they show us a girl who is descending from the air towards a lake of lava, but as soon as her foot touches it, all the lava is frozen, and that makes her stop on a floor of ice in a cold environment. We return to Hiro, who continues to escape from the boys by running on the roof of the houses, but one of them trips and almost falls off the edge, being caught by Tomit. He doesn't have enough strength, keep holding him, and ends up letting go. Fortunately, Hiro reacted quickly and caught him, managing to save him. Right after, one of the boys tells Tomit, who is their boss, that Peshat has been caught because he tried to steal the Grand Troa and says that they will execute him at dawn. They run from there to get Peshat, while Hiro sees that they don't want to play with him anymore. At dawn, the moment of execution occurs. Hiro arrives there, introducing himself as a wandering swordsman. Nambuko's servant sends the soldiers to attack him, but he manages to elude them, even dodging a special attack she launched at him. But after drawing his sword and performing a combo on a number of soldiers, they see that they were not cut or hurt. She tells Hiro that she won't cut anything with that kitchen knife, because she sees that the sword is much smaller than the scabbard he kept it in. He gets nervous in such a situation. But suddenly, the guy who was looking for him arrives and calls him Hiro-sama, and then kills all the soldiers in his path. Giru, who is the huge man, tells him that he was looking for him, calling him little man, to which Hiro throws a tantrum, not liking that he is called that. Palupa tells him that it's his fault for telling Hiro that he would only need 10 years to be an expert swordsman, taunting Hiro, who keeps calling himself a swordsman. There, the girl who attacked him takes the Grand Troa and says that she will use it to finish them off. Hiro recognizes that stone, as he says that it is the sealing treasure of his father, Biaro. Nambuko, observing what is happening from afar. With the help of the Grand Troa, she launches a huge energy attack against them. But in front of Hiro, a kind of tentacle appears. That limb repels the attack and returns it, falls on a mountain in the distance, and is destroyed in a huge explosion. Suddenly, Dagonzoto himself emerges from the ground, who is shown the same scar again. Hiro also feels that sensation in the scar he has, as if giving signs that they are connected. Dagonzoto creates chaos and destruction in the surroundings, leaving everyone surprised by such an appearance. Although Nambuko is fascinated by the disaster, Hiro launches to attack Dagonzoto, but this being holds him by one of its tentacles, and an electric shock leaves him unconscious. Giru goes to Hiro, but suddenly a bunch of soldiers shoot arrows at Dagonzoto, who repels them with a terrifying roar. Several arrows are directed towards Hiro and Giru, but they all saw that Dagonzoto protects them, and they are confused by such a thing. Shortly after, Dagonzoto submerges into the ground again, in order to disappear completely, the environment returning to normal. Nambuko tells the Lord that the horror revived after 10 years, that people will fear Dagonzoto, and when seeking protection, they will seek him. He also exclaims that it was he who invoked Dagonzoto, ending up retiring, announcing that he will return to the land where wishes die. Later we see Giru, Hiro, and Palupa at the boys' hideout, where Giru tells the story of Dagonzoto. That Bairo, Hiro's father, and his wife, Kismetit, tried to seal Dagonzoto, which is called the Balboa disaster. Palupa asks him why the area was chosen among the 3 countries. Giru tells him that the kingdom of Saint Amoria, the kingdom of Ishilfine, and the kingdom of Vandolis. The 3 countries were afraid of Dagonzoto, to the point where they did not want to seal him in their own country. As a result, the neutral zone was chosen. Kismetit's noble soul was used to lure him, and with Bairo's sealing treasure, Kismetit's divine sword, and Hiro's holy mirror, in addition to the power of 100 magicians, they thought they could seal it, but it didn't work out. The 100 magicians, along with Hiro's parents, fell into the soul-consuming flames. He also explains that the soul-devouring flames consume even the soul, and that anyone who dies from that cannot be revived with any magic. Shortly after Hiro wakes up, who exclaims that he will defeat Dagonzoto, there we can see flashbacks of the training he had for 10 years alongside with Giru. And he ends up deciding that his best chance to succeed is to get his father's sealing treasure, the Grand Troa that Nambuko owns. Now we see that Sharisharu, Nambuko's servant, converses with him through a magic mirror, because she stayed in the city while he goes to the land where wishes die. He orders her to find that boy, whom Dagonzoto protected, and thus ends the conversation between them. Hiro, along with his companions, decide to go to a restaurant to eat, but they are rejected for having gone against Nambuko. Right after, a Nekomata girl arrives and offers them a place where they can eat. While they are having their banquet, she begins to ask Hiro questions about Dagonzoto, but ends up asking if it has anything to do with him being Bairo's son. This causes them to become alert, as the girl introduces herself, calling herself Eren, and tells Hiro to remember her name. This generates mistrust in them, because she knows about Hiro without him having introduced himself, shortly after she leaves there without saying anything else. Later, they decide to sleep at Tomit's hideout, since they are short of money. Mide ends up convincing him, spending the night there, so that everyone is received by a great meal thanks to Giru, who is an excellent cook. Giru tells Hiro that his job is to become a better swordsman, who will at least survive on the roads, because he is not strong yet, and they end up deciding that they will stay for a few days for him to train. Later, Giru takes Hiro to an area where there are slimes, and tells him that his training will end when he kills all of them, Giru leaving him alone with Pallupa. Hiro tries to cut one, but being small they turn out to be too fast for him. One ends up sticking to his face. He sees that the training is very complicated for him since after many attempts he does not manage to make any progress. Later, behind Pallupa, a sand dragon appears, from which a girl emerges from its mouth. She approaches Hiro and ends up hugging him, saying, "Beat, beat, beat," while listening to his heartbeat, saying that the sound of his heart is very beautiful. She then tells him to go with her while showing a wand with the tip of a heart, leaving Hiro quite elated at the strange situation. He asks her what she means, and the girl tells him that she means going where he is, that is, there. Hiro asks her who she is, only to get the answer from her, who tells him her name is Sarato, saying poetic things to Hiro about his eyes, making him process less what is happening. Then Giru arrives, who asks him quite upset who she is, but Hiro answers that he has no idea, and Pallupa adds that she came from the mouth of a sand dragon. Sarato, on the other hand, begins to appreciate and admire some stones on the ground, while they get together, Pallupa saying that it is better not to associate with people like that, seeing her act that way. They end up running away from there while she is distracted, leaving her alone, though Hiro was looking at her with concern. Later, Hiro is deep in his thoughts, Tomit asking him if he still thinks about that girl and that he is in love, causing him to be ashamed of the subject, denying everything. But Hiro becomes more serious and says that she looked sad, like she was alone. Tomit tells her that it doesn't matter, since she can make friends, saying that he and his boys don't know who their parents are, or if they have siblings, and that even if they are not family, they survive. We now see Shirishiro, who with a group of soldiers, uses a banner of Hiro's face, asking the townspeople if they have seen him, to no avail. Seeing that nothing works, she says that it will be faster to use her magic to look for him, and then summon a mirror, which she asks where is what she is looking for, after reciting a few words. But he sees that in the mirror he only gets a damaged image, and while he says that it doesn't work, Sarato passes by, going down a city street. We switch with Nambuko, who tells someone through a magic mirror to tell the palace that Dagonzoto revived, and that he took the necessary measures with all the countries. That when the rumor spreads, the fear of the dragon will do the rest, and the world will be plunged into terror, forcing them to find a way to protect themselves. He changes with another mirror and orders this person to greatly increase the production of magic stones. He also tells him to keep an eye on the increase in the price of weapons and armor, because if they go up too much, it will be difficult to trade. Again, he changes with another mirror, and there he talks to a scientist, whom he calls Dr. Bafalapa. He tells him that the war will soon start, that the kings of the 3 countries will look for more weapons. He asks him to create a new product that they want, something that catches their eye, something more powerful than anything else. For brief seconds we are shown that Dr. Bafalapa sees a heart wand, while asking if Sarato will be okay. We return to the others, and suddenly we see that Sarato arrives at their hideout, and tells Hiro that she has found him, leaving everyone surprised by such an unexpected visit. Tomit asks how he found that place, Serato tells him that he can find important things while raising his wand, then tells Hiro that where he is where she belongs. In the end, he ends up accepting her company, already having a new member in his group. The next day, Hiro goes to train in the company of Serato, to whom he explains that they can't leave until he kills all the slimes. But shortly after, a giant wolf appears, which attacks Hiro, leaving him injured in the shoulder, and now has Serato as its target. Hiro gets his attention, causing the wolf to pounce on him, coming to believe that it was the end of him. It is seen that upon falling on him, the wolf is knocked unconscious while being hit by Hiro's sword, falling next to him unconscious. Hiro gets up and goes to Serato, who was standing still without moving or saying anything, asking her if she's all right. For a few seconds her eyes change colors after blinking, and she reacts, asking if something had happened, saying that she was suddenly tired. He asks her if she was sleeping with her eyes open, and she tells him that sometimes it happens. After seeing Hiro's wound, she brings the little finger of the hand holding the wand close enough to her wound. A glow of light comes out from the tip of her finger. This causes the wound to heal, and also the damaged clothes to be repaired, returning to normal, leaving Hiro surprised by that. Later it is seen that Hiro took the dead wolf to a merchant, who gives him a gold coin. Serato says it is a beautiful stone. After that, Hiro sees that some guards take a man, and that they are separating him from his son. They say that the lord of the city, the lord, wants him to work in the magic stone mines. Hiro says the phrase he learned from Giru: a hero never lets a good deed go by, to tell them to stop. But a guard behind him hits him on the head and knocks him out, causing him to end up locked up in jail shortly after, leaving Serato alone. Tarisharu is informed that Hiro has been caught, so he heads there. We see the city lord complain about Nambuko due to being manipulated by him. He hears something on the wall that has a painting on it, and as he removes the painting, he opens a safe that he has there. But he sees that there is nothing inside, and there is a hole in the side. Right after, Tomit appears sitting at the desk while holding a book, accompanied by Serato, who followed him there thinking of Hiro. The lord is upset when he sees that book, and Tomiti asks him if it's okay for a governor to use 2 books to steal money from the king. He takes it to the palace. What would happen to him? He places as a condition to return the book to him that he free Hiro, and that he release the people who are enslaved in the mines. But, seconds later, a bunch of guards appear in all directions, trapping Tomit and Serato. There Giru and Palopa appear on the terrace of the window, where Giru draws his great sword and points it towards the lord. The guards are forced to release Tomit, who once again places the condition that the lord fulfill his requests. He ends up accepting. They meet Hiro, who is glad to see Serato, and later Sharisharu arrives at the jail, but is angry to find out that Hiro has been released. The next day, Giru tells Hiro that he is going to supervise his training, but that he should go alone, since he is usually accompanied by Serato, which makes Hiro embarrassed. He tells Serato not to follow him, and hands him a gold coin, telling her to use it in case she needs anything. She sees the coin as a pretty stone, going for a walk in the market by herself, though Eren greets her, introducing herself to her, and offers to take her to a good place. He takes her to the healing waters, explaining to Serato that they are very famous, that a bath there will heal almost any wound, but cannot revive the dead. There later is Sharisharu taking a bath in those healing waters, and when she sees them she says that she is not interested in girls. Eren, realizing that she is there, feels upset. Now we see Palupa, who is holding a reward sign while walking along with Tomit. On that sign it says that a monster appeared in the healing waters, and that they will give 300 gold to the one who captures it. On the other hand, still in training, Giru provokes Hiro by saying that he is not a man, and that he is not prepared to face Daganzoto. This causes Hiro to become furious and try to attack him, although he fails. We return to Eren, who asks Serato direct questions, who doesn't answer them as she wishes because Eren's intention is to get information out of her. Only she doesn't succeed. Serato almost says Hiro's name, but is interrupted by Eren, but Harisharu becomes alert and asks if they are from there. Eren manages to manipulate the topic of conversation, mentioning that she believed that this place would be saturated with people due to Daganzoto's accident. Harisharu says that there is a rumor of these healing waters, that according to it there is a horrible monster that lives there, and that it appears sometimes, as well as that it has a reward. Returning to Giru, who tells Hiro what he surely thinks, that if he had the Grand Troa, he would kill Giru. This makes Hiro try to attack him again. But when doing so, he is suddenly hurt by Giru, who attacked him with his great sword. Right there is Palupa and Tomit, who observed what happened. Hiro is left unconscious and bleeding on the ground, while Palupa and Tomit run in concern, confronting Giru, but he tells them that he will take him to the healing waters. Later, they arrive at the healing waters. There it is seen that Hiro's wound is slowly healing. Seeing that they are there, Eren asks Sharisharu what kind of man she likes, and she tells her that her only man is Nambuko-sama. Then he tells him that he is there on his orders, to look for a boy who just arrived in the city named Hiro, and asks if they have seen him. Sarato tells her yes, but right after she is thrown into the water by Eren, who manages to cover up her response by doing so. Sharisharu's soldiers are seen for a few seconds hiding there in the healing waters, in a cave. One of them says that they are all in position and that we must wait for Sharisharu's orders. Soon after, Hiro wakes up, and Giru tells him that they can get money while they go on their journey, going so far as to cheer him up, and causing the two to reconcile. Suddenly the monster comes out, which is full of tentacles like a giant octopus. There, Sharisharu orders him to attack them, having seen Hiro. But this monster catches Sarato and Sharisharu herself, whom is thrown far away, and this causes the soldiers to go looking for her. Giru saves Sarato by cutting the tentacles with her sword, and kills the monster. Hiro heads towards Sarato, who is fine. After collecting the reward, they decide to go on their journey, in search of Nambuko, and Tomite decides to go with them, who says goodbye to his companions and friends. At the exit is Eren, who informs them that it was Sharisharu who ordered that monster to attack them. There they find out that they are persecuted by her. She also tells them that she will go with them, placing the benefit of telling them where Nambuko is, which they end up accepting. During the trip, a flying beast chases them from the heights, which has a special eye on its chest. It is about Nambuko, who has located them, also sees that the price of magic stones is rising more and more, and is happy about it. The boys arrive at a forest, and take refuge in the most wooded area. At night, Hiro looks for Sarato because she went to get water and it has taken a long time. He finds to Eren and asks her directly why she is accompanying them. She answers that she makes money with information, that the truth and lies are information. The next day, Nambuko makes arms deals with the Bonus, a race that asked him for large weapons, and he was able to provide them. He also has an agreement with another person, where it is seen that he takes advantage of the people's need for war, and he ends up benefiting greatly. Malbis. Shortly after, Sharisharu arrives. She was called the day before, and is scolded by Nambuko. He tells her that he will give her a hawk eye, an observant eye just like the one he uses to keep an eye on Hiro and the others, and that if she fails, she will never be in front of him again. Sharisharu later uses her teleportation to go along with her soldiers and some huge golems near where Hiro and the others are, who are continuing their journey through the desert. Hiro, as expected, rushes to attack her without thinking, but is incapacitated by a lightning spell that Sharisharu fired at him. Palupa, seeing that the situation worsens, takes a letter from his pocket, which he throws on the ground, and recites the words, "Come, Mumu." The boys also realize that Eren fled the place. A chest with legs comes out of the ground, and from that same chest a small girl comes out. Palupa tells her that he will pay the price and that they must flee. He takes Sarato and throws her straight into the chest. She disappears when she enters. They do it later. Giru stays and tries to save Hiro, who wakes up with Sharisharu in front of him. But Giru is trapped by a spell of hers and tells Hiro that she will kill him, making him suffer by electrifying Giru. After enduring such a situation for a while, Hiro is enveloped by an evil aura and blue flames. His fangs grow, and his eyes turn red. Sharisharu becomes alert and orders his soldiers to catch him. But they are all quickly finished off by Hiro, who attacks them using his claws. She gets very scared to see herself almost attacked by him, so she runs away with her teleportation. Hiro is knocked unconscious right at that moment. The next day he is seen waking up, alone and weak in the desert sun, and sees that in the distance Nambuko is riding in a strange vehicle, not understanding what is happening, his head aching from what happened to him. It is seen that the chest with legs appears again in the desert, which makes the boys come out. Palupa ends up paying Mumu several gold coins for that service. They see that Jiru is unconscious ahead, who is injured due to the attack that Sharisharu launched at him. He wakes up and peers over a cliff to see a large number of soldiers lying on the ground. We move on to Nambuko, who is reunited with the royal woman. There he demonstrates his new invention with the help of Dr. Bafalapa. A chained orc is seen in front of about 3 humans also trapped, and above some strange devices that Bafalapa manipulates, who when activated creates huge magic circles in the sky. From that magic circle comes a thick reddish air that falls rapidly and traps the orc along with the humans. An abomination comes out of there, who goes to attack the people there, but Nambuko orders his soldiers to finish him off, which they impale with spears. The woman is fascinated and tells Nambuko that only he could merge orcs and humans. He tells her that he will soon create an army of monsters for him, and that his neighboring countries will be terrified. Suddenly Hiro appears there. Exclaiming Nambuko's name, he had followed him there. He tells him to return the Grand Troa to him, and tries to confront him, but is easily defeated by Nambuko, who tells him that she will invite him to that night's celebration. Now, Jiru tells the others that Hiro defeated many of the soldiers, who are there unconscious. Shortly after Eren appears, Jiru sees that there are some tracks, and they decide to follow them, all going together, because now they have to look for Hiro. On the other hand, Sharisharu warns Nambuko about Hiro. Since he had never seen such power, he tells her that she and her men must have had a hard time. But then give him a bag of gold, and tells her to distribute it among his soldiers. She is happy, even telling him that her life belongs to him. And when she leaves, he says that it is true, that her life belongs to him. Later, Nambuko visits the tent where Hiro is tied to a chair, and tells him that he will offer to tell him his secrets, while showing him the torture weapons he has there. He asks what relationship he has with Daigonzoto, and Hiro asks why he is interested in Daigonzoto's rebirth. Since he is supposed to be a merchant, Nambuko tells him that he needs the chaos that the evil dragon will bring. That chaos means weapons, and weapons mean money. Hiro, realizing that he only sees his own benefit. Before he tortures him, he is interrupted by a royalties woman, who complains about one of her servants who gave her a lousy service, so he leaves, leaving Hiro alone. He does not miss that opportunity. After forcing his legs, he manages to get his foot out of the ropes that bound him, which he lifts, and makes his Dalhalbart emblem fall, which he had hidden there. He catches it with his hand, and uses it to try to break the rope that still binds his wrists. We see Dr. Bafalapa create a special dog-headed tracker, which he uses to try to get to Serato. This leads him to Hiro, and as he gets closer he sees the tracker barking, which makes him ask why he smells like Serato. He asks if he's safe, and Hiro says yes, making him feel relieved. But then Bafalapa asks where he met Serato. Hiro, after getting him into the situation, lets him know that she told him that she liked his heartbeat, although the doctor didn't believe it. Then he used a tool to listen to Hiro's heart, and there he suddenly got scared, starting to mutter strange things. Hiro unties himself and tries to strangle him, but sees that Bafalapa continues talking like nothing, to later say, "Your heart is not yours," and that it is fate that Serato and he met. This makes Hiro take advantage and proposes that he let him go, since if he continues there, it would make Serato sad. Bafalapa is convinced, and gives him a jar with a strange drink, telling him to drink it while thinking about Serato. Hiro drinks it, and Bafalapa tells him that he one day has to meet the Master Theo. Hiro disappears into thin air. We see that the others are outside, watching the area where Nambuko is. They already deduced that Hiro is there, but suddenly he appears in the air behind them and falls to the ground. He tells them that he will explain to them later, but that they should run away now. Later on, they find themselves in a mine, where Hiro finished telling them everything he knows, wondering who that old man was. That is, Bafalapa. Serato hints that it is his father, though Hiro doesn't buy it. Giru says that he is concerned about that sentence that he said, "Your heart is not yours," explaining his hypothesis. Dagonzoto that time seemed to protect him from the arrows, and he asks if he doesn't feel a kind of union with the evil dragon, like the beating of his heart, or the mark that is also on Dagonzoto's body. Hiro's heart is not his, so the dragon's heart must be his, that their hearts may have been changed, and that perhaps he was interested in protecting his heart rather than him, and that if it were true, perhaps 10 years ago, Bairo would change them out of despair. Like the strange power that manifested in the mirror plane, that perhaps the power was hidden in the heart of Dagonzoto, and that it could be said that he turns into a dragon. Hiro is shocked to learn all this, wondering that if he dies, Dagonzoto dies, and if Dagonzoto dies, he will die. He ends up leaving, but Palupa follows him, telling him stories of when Hiro was a child, and that he did tantrums, where it is shown that Palupa was with Hiro's parents, and that Giru arrived shortly after. He ends up telling him that Giru used to study magic, which leaves Hiro surprised, and that he did it for him. But there are still many mysteries of the Balbagoa disaster, that Bairo risked his life to protect him. Therefore Giru spent all that time trying to discover the truth for him. Hiro suddenly cheers up and says that with the power of the Grand Troa, he could change his heart with Dagonzoto again. They continue on their journey, though they are watched by a Hawkeye controlled by Shirisharu, who was given a lion-like beast as a gift. They arrive at a town, where Giru has a brief image in his head of seeing a semi-destroyed well. Later he has a sudden flashback to his past. There it is shown that his parents are an ogre and a human, whom they have imprisoned for being together. The ogres say that because of their relationship the humans have attacked him, so they end up hanging them together, while Giru is hidden, watching what happened. His father shouts into the air towards Giru that a hero never passes up a good deed, being the phrase that Giru taught Hiro. After that, he sees how his parents are hanged, suffering a vile death, and that later, thrown in the desert, he is saved by Bairo. There in that town they are attacked by one of Nambuko's abominations, and Hiro tells them that it is a fusion between a human and an orc. They manage to finish off that monster since it got distracted when heading towards Hiro, and Giru was able to attack it from behind with his sword. Now they show that Eren is visiting Nambuko's place, being accompanied by Shirisharu. Already reunited, he tells him what he learned about Giru, that Dagonzoto's heart is inside Hiro, and that true or false, information is information, asking for payment in return. He hands her the Alshina, a special item that allows her to hear things from long distances. Nambuko says that if Hiro is Bairo's son, then one day he will go there to look for the sealing treasure. He just has to wait. As Eren leaves, Nambuko orders Shirisharu to kill Hiro, which Eren overheard using the Alshina. The boys arrive at a town, and Giru buys a new sword for Hiro. On the other hand, Eren is also in that town. Because she used Mumu to be transported there, who she paid a lot of money to, she goes into an armory and buys magic arrows. The guy tells her that she can kill a big monster in an instant. At night, boys have dinner, and there Giru tells him that teacher Theo was Bairo's teacher. Sarato later says that Theo is his friend, leaving everyone confused, and they propose that they should go see Master Theo, since they can solve various mysteries there. Before going to sleep, the village is attacked by a tentacle-shaped shadow, which is a monster that Bafalapa created, and that Shirisharu, who is there, released to attack the area. They all get out, but he is caught by the monster, and Hiro is cornered by Shirisharu, who is about to pierce his heart with the tip of her umbrella. Faced with this imminent death, Hiro's dragon form ends up awakening, releasing its enormous power. This causes Shirisharu to escape from there. But the monster attacks Hiro, who suffers in pain, making the ground shake, and also causes him to slowly summon Dagonzoto. While Nambuko watches what happens with his Hawkeye, Giru runs to Hiro to help him, but is suddenly attacked by him, and is severely injured on the ground. And shortly after, Hiro returns to normal, and Dagonzoto plunges back into the ground. On the other hand, Nambuko sees that to summon Dagonzoto, he needs Hiro. A few days pass, and Giru finally wakes up. Hiro apologizes to him for attacking him. He also asks Sarato to try to heal him, but she tells him that she can't heal wounds like that. Giru tells him that the dragon form is dangerous, and that if he continues to use it, he may not be able to return to normal, and may stay that way forever. After he is knocked unconscious again, because he is still in a very bad state, Palupa tries to buy the medicine with Mumu, but it is too expensive, and explains that Serafudia herb is very rare, therefore they can't buy any. Eren, who is there suddenly, tells them that she knows where to find Serafuria, which is in the Kureru-sama Canyon, which makes Hiro leave along with Sarato on that search. They show us that Nambuko begins to spread a rumor that a country captured Daganzoto, and that the details are unknown. And he says that the more scattered the information, the more fear and suspicion it will cause. Meanwhile, Tomit tells Falupa about her suspicions about Sarato, since Sharisharu seems to always know where they are, and that she is acquainted with Bafalopa, Nambuko's doctor. He also asks her if she has seen Sarato laugh, and she says that she has never seen her do that once, showing great distrust of her. After a noon trip, Hiro and Sarato arrive at the place, and after a search they manage to find a Seraphori, although they see that it is planted right on top of a giant turtle, but Hiro, not giving up, manages to pull it out. In doing so he stumbles, and falls to a great height, but is caught by Sarato, who laughs after it. This makes Hiro surprised to see her smile, since it's the first time he's seen that on her. And he tells her that he's never seen her make that face. It is shown that Eren tells Palupa and Tomit that Nambuko went from trapping to killing regarding Hiro, and that her motive may be because she wants to know the relationship between him and Daganzoto, and that he heard that information through her Alshina, where Palupa explains to Tomit that it is something that allows you to listen and communicate with someone regardless of the distance. She also tells them that the kingdom of Saint Amoria, the kingdom of Ishilfine, and the kingdom of Vandolis have heard a rumor that a country has captured Daganzoto, that those countries make many more orders for weapons and armor, and the magic stones used for their creation increase in price, and it is Nambuko who secretly controls the prices, who makes a fortune from it, and that, thanks to all of that, there will be a war on the whole continent, very soon. It means that no matter how hard Hiro tries, if a war breaks out, he won't be able to go to the land where wishes die, as they would have to go through a battlefield. At night, Hiro and Sarato arrive with the herb, and they make the medicine for Giru, who feels better after taking it. Meanwhile, Tomit uses the Alshina she borrowed from Eren, asking Peshat how they are over there. Later, Tomit tells the others that Linsekis is wrong, that they even send the children to the magic stone mines, that his friends are fine, but she is still angry about the situation. Seeing that, Sarato sheds a tear, and he sees it, and the next day they resume their journey together with Giru. And Tomit tells Palupa that he no longer mistrusts Sarato, because he saw her cry at night. They go up some mountains, and suddenly the Master Theo appears flying before them, who tells them that they want to go see him, but they don't bring a gift. Giru and Palupa react to kneel before him. When he sees Sarato, he is very friendly with her, seeing that there is a lot of trust between them, although Hiro does not feel comfortable seeing them hug each other. After a while, Giru questions Theo about Hiro, mentioning his dragon form. Master Theo suddenly releases a red flame that engulfs the entire cave and all of them. Sarato comes to glow when that happens. Everyone is fine, and Theo explains that this was the soul-eating flames, but that it is an imitation of Daganzoto that he did as he imagined, and that the real Yes would have finished them in an instant, resulting in something terrifying. He ends up telling them that he doesn't have any advice for them, but Hiro tells him that he wants to avenge the death of his parents. Theo offers to teach him magic, thus starting Hiro's training in it, doing various things that make no sense to him. Eren is seen for a few seconds, who hears from her Alshina that the countries are preparing for war, which will happen very soon. We return to Theo, who teaches Hiro the Koku sword, which is an invisible magic sword, and that he can use it too. Hiro, trying to do it with great momentum, leaves Theo frozen, and behind him a crack forms in a rock, although Hiro sees nothing and thinks it's a waste of time. Days of training go by. One night, Theo has a conversation with Giru, who tells him that Hiro possesses a rare talent for magic and amazing power. If not, a human couldn't tolerate the power of the dragon heart. That his magic power, although he doesn't know it, is amazing. He also tells him that the power that he directed towards him was not only strong, but it dodged Sarato's staff that was in the middle, without him noticing, and managed to pierce it. That he was about to use defensive magic, going so far as to tell him that he is dangerous. He then tells her that Hiro and Serato are two parts of a couple, and that they should always be in a couple. The next day, Hiro gets tired and gives up on training, but Theo stops him before he leaves and tells him that if he cuts him with the Koku's sword, he will be able to graduate. Hiro determinedly launches an attack with all his might, although at first glance it looks like nothing is happening, and Theo overacts taking the blow he gave him, telling him that he has passed. He says goodbye to them, who finally leave, and tells Serato to take care of Hiro. After that, Theo falls to his knees on the ground. There it is shown in flashbacks that Hiro's attack was very powerful even with defensive magic, and that it was only a fraction of his true power. That perhaps Bairo's quick decision paid off. Switching Hiro's heart to the evil dragon's heart keeps his powers at bay and prevents them from losing control. After a few days, they arrive at the Morta Desert, that when they cross that desert, they will arrive at the land where desires die. There they are suddenly attacked by a giant bird. Baguru reacts quickly and kills it, a huge attack. Eren fell to such a sudden commotion and drops her Alshina, from which Nambuko's voice comes out, who tells Eren informant, and if she heard him. Everyone else immediately understands what it is about, looking at her with a bad face, calling her a traitor. She confesses that she has earned a lot of money as an informant. Everyone, disappointed, decides to leave without doing anything to her, leaving her alone. Eren tells them that they will have problems if they go on their own, since they don't know the way. We pass with Sherasharu, who by Nambuko's orders, agreed to be a participant in an experiment, where she merges with her pet, the beast that he gave her. The boys spend days in the desert, while the countries already look almost ready for war, showing each other how they prepare their troops. Suddenly Palupa falls into a hole in the sand, from which a monster with pincers emerges from the ground and tries to climb up, but does not quite succeed. Seconds later, a stick tied to a rope falls in front of him and he takes it, managing to be saved. This was Eren. Despite that, Hiro thanks her and tells her that he still doesn't want to see her face. Now they are surprised by a great sandstorm, which traps them all, causing everyone to be separated in that great desert. Palupa meets Eren, who says that she will continue on her way, and although Palupa still holds a grudge against her, he follows her simply for survival. Giru stays with Tomit, who is in very bad shape from dehydration, and Hiro stays with Serato. A day passes, and Hiro also suffers from dehydration. Serato, looking ahead, says that he smells a lake in the wind, and that if it was a distant dream, then he takes off his clothes. Eren and Palupa get Giru and Tomit, and out of options they are led by Eren, who directs them to a nearby oasis. Now Serato is seen without any clothes, with water in her hands, which she gives to Hiro. There it is also shown that a hawk eye is watching them. The boys finally make it to the oasis and relieve their dehydration, coming to save Tomit. Suddenly, Sherasharu arrives totally different, and tells them that Nambuko gave her that incredible body to find him. She kicks Serato and catches Hiro, using a stone from her wrist to teleport to Nambuko's mansion, leaving Serato alone. Armies from all the kingdoms are seen gathering around where the Balbagoa disaster occurred, some wondering if they really planned to use Duganzoto to make that disaster happen again. Nambuko receives Hiro, who tells her that it is time to release the chaos, and that it is the time of the dragon. Hiro attacks him with his sword, but again he is left with the edge of Nambuko's sword on his neck. He tells him that maybe he doesn't remember it, but that they already knew each other 10 years ago, that he was in the Balbagoa disaster, and that for a reason he got the sealing treasure. He confesses that he was the one who shot the arrow at Bairo, that he could use Daganzoto to create chaos, that this would mobilize people, and they would spend their money. He also tells that if he hadn't had a dragon blood crystal, he would have died in that disaster. We return to the others, who are still searching for Hiro, and ask Eren to use the Alshina to find him. Looking for a sign, she finds Serato, and they head towards where she is. Drum send Pillar with her wand, and that the sound will attract a dragon. In the sky, it is seen that a dragon flutters nearby, which quickly goes towards Serato, who breaks his wand after so many blows. The dragon devours her, but after it opens its mouth, She tells the others that the dragon can transport them. Palupa remembers that she had done that in the past. We are with Nambuko, who asks Bafalapa if the preparations are ready. He tells him that the magic left in Gyrokia's sphere will be compressed in the magic mega-reactor and will reach Balbagoa's 3 reactors, and that if he adds the sealing treasure, he will be able to conquer the continent. Of course, he will have to use all the power of that mansion in which they are. Nambuko tells him that he will gladly sacrifice a mansion or 2 for Daganzoto. After hanging up, Bafalapa sees a blip on his radar. The boys on a fast dragon ride approach Nambuko's mansion. Eren tells them that this place used to be ruled by a demon named Gyrokias. They say that the hero Dalhalbart was the one who defeated him, and his castle was destroyed, but there is still powerful magic in its ruins. Suddenly, a huge spear comes out of the castle and hits the dragon they are riding, causing it to fall into the lower area of the castle. They manage to hide, avoiding being seen by the soldiers who arrived shortly after. There Bafalapa appears before them, who is happy to see Serato, and takes her away using a magical door. The boys take advantage and enter before it closes, and enter as well. Bafalapa tells Serato that she has grown since she last saw her. Palupa asks what she is. Serato tells him that it was made on Nambuko's orders, and Bafalapa adds that it is a magical doll that he created. Giru asks why they created her. Bafalapa tells them that Nambuko was in the Balbagoa tragedy 10 years ago, that he survived thanks to a dragon blood crystal, and that he is made with the blood that falls from Daganzoto's wounds, which can protect him from soul-devouring flames. And being ordered to create the best soldier using those crystals, Nambuko wanted a warrior who could fight, even in lands ravaged by flames. But he wasn't interested in that, because he was only looking for beauty and kindness, though he gave it to Sarada, which Nambuko didn't like. It is seen in brief flashbacks how Nambuko tells him that a weapon should not smile and to get rid of it, which Bafalapa didn't do, and just let her get away, which is how she met Hiro. Wondering why? Giru tells him that Hiro's heart has been exchanged with Daganzoto's. Bafalapa deduces that she, not having a heart of her own, sought Daganzoto's and begins to destroy the things that are there. Then he tells Serato to go with him, since the hour of the dragon will happen soon, and Nambuko will take advantage of that to summon Daganzoto. But Serato refuses, making it clear that she wants to be with Hiro, and leaves from there. Later they get a giant magic stone, and see that there is Hiro, who is trapped by Nambuko and Shirisharu. Nambuko says that she was waiting for Serato's arrival, and she tells him that she will go with him if he lets Hiro go, though he refuses, asking Serato to come over, which she does. He tells him that thanks to that magic reactor, he can use his power to the maximum. After that, Shirisharu uses her magic portal and takes the 3 of them to Balbagoa, and stops Giru, who was trying to stop them. In the area where they are in Balbagoa, it is seen that the moon turns red, and the ground changes. Shirisharu explains to the others that Nambuko will use the remaining magic of Gyrokias to fuse the soldiers of the 3 countries with Daganzoto. The castle they are in begins to close, and she explains that the Gyrokias sphere closes and sends all the magic to Balbagoa, and presumes that Nambuko would not let her die. Finally, the sphere closes, and soon after Nambuko speaks to everyone from a magic mirror, giving the information that their souls will be turned into magic, causing chaos within the Gyrokias sphere. Bafalapa says that the sphere seals the magic inside and amplifies it, and that they cannot escape using magic. He also mentions that his real body is in Balbagoa, and that the body he has there is only a doll, which is slowly deflated and ends up on the ground. We return to Nambuko, who tells Serato that she will awaken something inside her, but is interrupted by Bafalapa, because he doesn't want him to use her, and that if he doesn't stop, he will turn off the reactor. But he is immobilized by a powerful attack that Nambuko launches at him, and later he uses a kind of magic to control Serato. He touches her chest with his sword. This causes her to scream and is enveloped in a wall of energy and lightning. Shortly after, her image is changed, and her eyes turn red. Hiro tries to help her, but is hit by such energy, and is pushed back several meters. Nambuko says that that doll has a nullification spell with her, and she can't disobey his orders. that the terror that Serato provokes will make Dagonzoto's heart beat inside Hiro, and he will summon the evil dragon. Then he orders him to fight against Hiro, whom she hits hard without hesitation. On the other hand, we see that Palupa tries to use Mumu to escape, but she tells him from the letter that she cannot enter the Gyrokia sphere, and asks her if she doesn't have a magic item to help them escape, and they all end up offering large amounts of gold and jewels, which Mumu agrees to. Giru tells Shirasharu that when the sphere opens to help them go to Balbagoa, she tells him that Nambuko is hers, as she bears a great grudge against him for leaving her there to die. Momo is seen outside the sphere, who has a large magic cannon at her side and makes it shoot. This creates a large hole through which they all escape. Returning to Hiro, who eventually ends up transforming into his dragon form, Nambuko says that when he completes that form, the evil dragon will finally revive. Shortly after, the others arrive at the place thanks to a magical door, but before helping, Sherishiro attacks and stops Giru. It is seen that her eyes turn red and tears come out, implying that she is also controlled by Nambuko. After a hard fight, Hiro, seeing himself cornered by Serato, finally makes Dagonzoto come out. Right after, huge pillars emerge from the ground around the center and shoot a beam of energy directly at Dagonzoto. Nambuko says that when she fuses the soldiers with the evil dragon, she doesn't know what kind of monster will come out, and that she wants her beauty to be eternal. He calls out for Dagonzoto to become one with him, placing the sealing treasure in a magic stone receiver next to him. A huge magic circle is created in the sky, and Gyrokia's sphere is destroyed, transferring his magic to Balbagoa. A bolt of energy falls from the sky towards Dagonzoto, and Nambuko walks right into it. A few seconds pass, and Nambuko looks completely different. He says that finally Dagonzoto is inside him. While he flies in the air, his appearance is dark and evil. After that, he performs a combo of attacks against Hiro, who makes him lash out on the ground from the impact. Hiro, now a bit back at himself, says that this is the power of his parents and the other lives he absorbed, but is brutally hit in the stomach by Nambuko. Meanwhile, Bafalapa tells the other boys to shut down the reactor and shut down all three at the same time, as well as taking the sealing treasure as well. That magical power will return, and the reactor in the land where wishes die will go out of control. They waste no time and get into position, managing to deactivate the reactor, causing it to explode the remains that gave Nambuko magic in his castle, also taking out the sealing treasure. But Nambuko tells them that it's too late for that, beginning to accumulate a ball of soul-devouring flames in the palm of her hand. Then it creates a huge explosion, flames going in all directions. It is seen that Serato protects Hiro and the others, but Nambuko, upon seeing that, stabs her in the back and tells her that it was a mistake to leave her the dragon blood crystal. Hiro catches her in his arms and screams furiously. Nambuko, being distracted, doesn't see that Hiro suddenly attacks him and manages to cut his arm with the sword that Serato gave him. He then drives his sword straight into Nambuko's chest, as Nambuko exclaims that no human could pierce the evil dragon's skin. He ends up on the ground before that deadly wound. Then Hiro goes to Serato again, worried about her. The other boys approach them, and they all see that from where Nambuko is, Dagonzoto emerges from the ground. Giru says that he has recovered his old power. Seeing that, Hiro apologizes to his parents, which is the only way, while pointing his sword directly at the part where his heart is. That is, Dagonzoto's. Just before, a voice comes to his head and tells him to throw it so that it lands right where he decides. That's fine. Remembering bits of his training with Master Theo, he drops his sword and asks Tomit for the sealing treasure, who throws it at him, and Hiro catches it. After that, he uses the technique he learned, the Koku sword, but having the sealing treasure, he manages to take out a great sword of light, and with it, he gives a direct blow to Dagonzoto, right on the scar he has. This opens a large wound, and from there, Hiro's heart floats out. He takes it, and seeing Serato, goes towards her, fusing his heart in her chest, giving Serato his reason. This causes her to revert to her original form, and when she wakes up soon after, Hiro is happy to see that she is all right. Palupa takes the sealing treasure, saying everything she will do thanks to that, but she fights with Tomit and Aaron, and between the three of them they make the stone fall, which breaks on the ground. Giru says that he knew it wasn't the Grand Troa since the Grand Troa wouldn't break. He explains that it was Bairo's sealing treasure, that by defeating Dagonzodo, his task was finished. Balupa says that Hiro used incredible magic to break through, but Giru tells him what Theo told him, that he possesses incredibly great power. Serato asks where Dr. Bafalapa is, but the boys show him a broken staff, implying that he died in the soul-consuming flames. Then, they see that the armies of the kingdom retreat, which are still in good condition since the soul-devouring flames that Nambuko launched did not reach them due to the distance. Eren explains that she has some contacts with their kings, and that she told them that it was all Nambuko's fault. On the other hand, Sharisharu sees that her soldiers and her general came to her, and they encourage her to keep going so far as to say that she is barely 362 years old and has a great and sexy body. Some time passes. The boys now visit the grave they made for Bafalopa, Serato saying tump, 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 simulating the beating of a heart, while feeling the one inside her. She says that it is Hiro's sound, but he tells her that it is hers now, and that he will continue to protect her.